Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. For today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Shell Donatello. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. So here we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Shell Donatello. Now from the front, he comes in what you can consider your average blister card packaging. I mean, it has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo up here, his name prominently shown at the bottom, all of his four brothers right here. It shows the little feature right here on his back, but that's not what I think is so interesting about this. It's actually this little window here in the back that actually shows you how the Battle Shell feature kind of works. Sorry if there's a glare, but you can kind of see his little weapons in here. And I really like that. It allows the kids to actually see what's going on in the back. I remember the first wave of these figures that came out in the 80s. Didn't really have that. Now you have your little bio backstory right here. It kind of gives the same for all of them. It's not doesn't go into any individual details from difference between Leonardo, Raphael, or all the others. You get another nice window here about how the weapons work and fit into the shell. And then you get a nice look at all the other heroes, the new Ninja Turtles Battle Shell line that's coming out, and a lot of the new villains that are coming out. So, without further ado, let's open this guy up and take a closer look at him. Alright, so here we have Battle Shell Donatello straight out of the packaging. Now, he's a lot more show accurate than the first Donatello we had in this line. His hands and arms are a little bit more squared off and stylized, as well as his toes and knee pads. They match up with the show a lot better than the first Donatello. His face also is a little bit more cartoony. It's a little bit too round for my taste, especially compared to Leonardo, which was a little bit more chiseled. But it's also nice that they have that little gap in there. Now, his articulation is pretty much the same. I mean, he has a little ball swivel joint for a head. His arms can move 360 degrees around. His elbows can move. His wrists can move. His legs can move up. And now his shell right here is made of a softer plastic than Leonardo, so getting him in some sitting poses won't be as hard. His knees can also bend as well, and that's pretty much it other than his battle shell feature that opens up right here. One of the things I do like is how they have a little metal pin in here. The first battle shell guys that came out in the 80s, it was just a joint that kind of snapped on right there, and so the shell could easily pop off or get lost if you played with it a little bit too much. He doesn't seem to have the same problem as Leonardo did, where his belt would actually come off, or the part that would hold his bow staff, so I am happy about that. However, there seems to be some quality issues with this one. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of a gap right there, meaning that it's not fully, his body's not fully glued together, so that might actually come apart in time, and even if I force it a little bit, you can kind of see it starting to spread apart. Another thing that I'm always having problems with is his legs. Their legs just don't match up when they're on the ground. If you kind of look at it, you can see that one leg is definitely shorter than the other, just by a little bit. And that's kind of a disappointment. If you want to have him stand properly, you got to give him in some sort of weird permanent battle pose, which is kind of odd for these figures. I mean, they're not supposed to be in a battle pose position. As for his battle shell gimmick, you just kind of open it up and you stick his little throwing stars in here, and then you get his other little weapon right here, and you just have to try to fit that right in the back. I think I had it upside down actually. There we go, and then you just close it up, and that's how all the weapons fit in there. As far as his weapons go, though, this is kind of another disappointment. I mean, this other staff right here that's supposed to be a broken up staff that's on a chain, it's kind of useless because it's just stuck in this position. I mean, if it was made of a soft rubber that you can kind of flex it around, that would be cool, but it's just stuck in this position, so if you wanted to have him hold it, he's pretty much holding kind of a useless item. And his ninja stars, they don't really fit in his hands all that well either. It's not Leonardo's was a lot better than this. I mean, you can kind of fit him right in there in between his two fingers, but that's kind of weird. They don't even really fit over his fingers. It's kind of that's another disappointment. I mean, why even have these in here? It's just kind of for looks. Now, comparing them to the first Donatello that came out in this line, you can see a huge difference. I mean, now I will have to say, forgive some of the grit and dirt on this guy. I'm in the process of customizing him and just making him a little bit more cooler. But these guys, their skin is very soft. I mean, it's just a smooth plastic. You don't really get any fine details or pores and anything. Not like these guys where you can kind of see, well, hopefully the dirt will show it, all the little nicks and cuts and skin texture on there. It made it really feel that these guys were more turtles than, well, these ones. Also, I really like these little cuts and scars and just scrapes on the actual shells themselves. It made it seem like, yeah, they were been fighting and practicing, and they had some little mishaps while growing up. This one, the shell's just a little too smooth. I mean, they have one or two little nicks, and the belt's kind of cut up right here, but that's about it. As far as guys go, I'm still kind of liking the first line in these guys. I mean, the heads are way off than what's seen in the show, but yeah, these guys are still kind of my favorite compared to the Battle Shell ones. I mean, they're nice for what the gimmick they have now, but I don't know, just they seem to have too many flaws and other stuff for me to really kind of get into them. Anyways, this has been a look at Battle Shell Donatello. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show would be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear in the show in the future.